Hello and welcome back to another movie review. Third movie of the night, I saw Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. Percy Jackson actually came out quite a while ago, the original film, and it always seemed interesting to me, but I never got a chance to watch it back then, and when it came out on DVD, I guess I'd missed it, and just never added it to my collection. So when I heard that they were finally doing the sequel to it, I had actually forgotten the movie existed until I saw that they were playing the sequel, and I was like, oh wow, I forgot all about that movie. I actually wanted to watch the original. But of course, at this point, it's kind of hard to find. So I was at Walmart shopping not too long ago, getting, a couple basic groceries that I needed. And I just happened to stop and look in their $5 bin, because usually I'll buy a couple older movies, or they got those combo packs where you get like 10 movies for $5 or whatever, and they're usually old shit movies, but, it gives you 10 movies to watch. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're mildly, amusingly funny. So I'm looking through there and I see the first Percy Jackson movie. And I think, wow, that's weird that they're throwing it in the $5 bin instead of waiting until the next one comes out and putting it back out on the shelf at, like the almost full retail price, like the $10 rack or something. Because they do that with most movies now. When The Hangover 3 came out, they put Hangover 1 and 2 both back out on the shelf at $10 when they've been selling them for $5 before that. Which I did buy the first Hangover, and I was going to go buy the second one once I got my next paycheck. And then they pulled them both off the shelf to put out the combo pack of 1 and 2 for half the price of what I would have paid for each one individually. So now I can't find 2 by itself, and I don't want to buy the combo pack because I already have part 1. So I still haven't seen The Hangover Part 2, so I never got around to watching The Hangover Part 3 when it was in the theater here. So that's why you never saw a review for that. But anyway, so I found Percy Jackson in there, and I was like, I wonder why they didn't just wait till the next one comes out and kind of, sell these off then instead of just throwing them in the $5 bin now. But it was in the $5 bin, and I hadn't seen it, and I wanted to see it, so I bought it, watched it. I'll probably do a review on it at some point. So anyway, I saw Percy Jackson Sea of Monsters, which is the sequel, and it was pretty good. I actually like the first one a little bit better, but this one's not bad. It's basically kind of a in-between build-up to the next major thing that's going to happen. If you're familiar with the first one, there's Percy Jackson is a demigod. His father's Poseidon. His mother's human. He finds out that he's a demigod, and he gets taken away to this demigod camp where he's trained to be a warrior and whatnot. And one of the demigods that lives at the camp turns on him and everything, and they have to battle because the other kid that turns bad stole Zeus's lightning bolt, and they keep trying to say that Percy stole it, and Percy didn't even know he was a demigod, so how would he have stole it? So Percy basically has to find out who stole it, which he finds out it's this other demigod, and he has to battle him, get the lightning bolt back, and return it to Zeus. Otherwise, Zeus is going to go to war with the other Olympic gods, and it'll affect the earth. So Percy finds it, returns it to Zeus, and that's the first Percy Jackson movie. In this one, he's still at camp. They tell a story about this little girl who died trying to defend her friends and became this tree that puts a force field around the camp so that no one will ever be attacked within its boundaries again. You can be attacked leading up to the boundaries, just not once you're inside the boundaries. And you can only cross the boundary if you're somehow a demigod. So Percy's still at the camp, and they tell the story. He's at the camp now. They're having this little competition, training competition. It's basically an obstacle course. It's this tower that you got to climb up, but it has like all the spinning rods that knock you off and stuff. Kind of like in any of the old like medieval times type of movies, you always see them running an obstacle course. It's like a straight out line, and there'll be like batons that are spinning around to knock them down, and there'll be blades that are coming up out of the floor and stuff. So it's kind of all that, but instead of in a straight line that they got to run through, it's on a tower that they have to climb. and at the top of the tower is a golden ring, so you got to grab the ring and then you win. So they're doing that. That doesn't really play a major part in the movie other than introducing some new characters. Then Percy finds out that there's this prophecy about him. So then he's trying to find out what the prophecy's about, and the prophecy doesn't even play into this movie at all. The whole prophecy issue is kind of a build-up to, so it's not just sprung on you in the next book, because I guess the next book is when the prophecy's going to come to pass or whatever. I didn't read the book, so I don't know. So yeah, they're just kind of talking about it right now, so it's just a lead-in to happen later on in another movie. It's sequel bait, basically. So the demigod who turned against him in the first one returns, and he's trying to resurrect Kronos, which, if you know anything about Greek mythology and the Titans and the Olympians, then you know who Kronos is. If not, go look it up. I'm not going to go into the story. But he's trying to resurrect Kronos, and when he's doing this, he breaks into the camp for some reason, and the way he's able to get through is he poisons the tree that creates the barrier. So they decide, okay, well, there's one way to save the tree, and it's to retrieve the Golden Fleece, because the Golden Fleece can heal anything. So they go looking for the Golden Fleece. It turns out that was a setup because he wants the Golden Fleece to use to resurrect Kronos, because he has Kronos' remains. So then it's just this, they have to go into the Sea of Monsters, which is the Bermuda Triangle, to locate this island where the fleece is at. So they go and get the fleece. The other guy steals it away from them. They end up resurrecting Kronos. Percy's able to defeat Kronos, and then they take the fleece back to heal the tree. And it not only heals the tree, but it actually resurrects the girl who died and who became the tree. So even though she's resurrected and she's back alive now, the tree's still there, still creates the force field. And that's the end of the movie. Once she resurrects Percy's, because the prophecy was that the half-blood heir to one of the main three gods, which is Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, would cause this prophecy that would either destroy the world or save it. So, and Percy's the only living half-breed or half-blood son of one of those three, or child of one of those three. But then when this girl's resurrected, she's actually a daughter of Zeus, so now there's two. So is he the one in the prophecy, or is she? But when they're telling the prophecy, it says the boy with his sword, so obviously it's Percy. So how they're going to get around that, I don't know. But anyway, that's the movie. It's a lot more interesting than what I've said, so check it out, especially if you like the first one. The first one's a little bit better. This one's, like I said, basically just kind of sequel bait to kind of introduce some new characters, tell the setup story, and lead up to what's going to happen in a later film, or a later book originally. So it does drag on at some points. There were a couple of points where I was starting to get a little bit bored with it, and then something cool would happen, which would kind of bring me back. So it's not a great movie, but if you like the first one, check it out. Other than that, I don't want to go into too much more detail. Like I said, trying to save some room on here. Yeah, so as far as the star rating goes, sadly, I'm going to give it a 3. Like I said, it is a good movie, but at the same time, because it's basically a setup for something later, it ends up being kind of a middle-of-the-road type of thing. Like I said, it does have enough to keep you drawn into the story, but it did drag a little bit at certain points to where I started to lose interest, but it would bring me back eventually. So yeah, we'll stick with a 3. It's a more higher-end 3, like a 3 and... probably a 3 1/4. I mean, it's not far off from a 3 1/2, but yeah, since I don't do the quarters, we're going to go with a 3, round down. So yeah, that's it for Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. Got one more movie to review. Hopefully I got enough room left on this tape. So until then, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the movies.